Yeah, no. It's fine.
Today will be a shorter meeting in the sense that we've got less items on the agenda, just because we can't do some of these things in a special meeting. So today we're going to focus on those elements that were required.
Absolutely.
For the calling of the special meeting. So it's just really committee-based things that will make our next meeting. So have the expectation that we'll just have a few other things that do need approval from last week that we are able to address today. So again, we have called the meeting to order. It's 6:03. Thank you for those who were able to attend today. We do have regrets from Leo, from Scott, as well. I have some unfortunate regrets. We have had an official resignation from Jim from the board as of yesterday. So unfortunately, we are down another director. We appreciate the time he's given to this board and wish him well. So I think I've included Brian and Andrew on an email to Laura. We'll see when we hear back on what will happen with that available seat. So we'll keep everybody
Jules'
posted.
camera.
Pardon me?
Jules' camera. There he is. Okay.
I can't keep track of everybody back and forth up there. Thank you, Linda.
I was trying to find a place to put it.
Don't leave that wide open.
All right, guys,
Yeah.
I'm just bouncing around. I've got a computer with a smaller screen. My docking station isn't here. I've got too many things I'm bouncing between. Okay, I don't believe we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest tonight, unless something's come in that I'm aware of. Okay. So moving on then. Sorry, trying to get to the agenda here. We're gonna roll right into our committees, guys, because that is why we are here today, with a few updates for everyone there. So I'd like to start, as a matter of fact, because what we did miss in May was the official motions for the committee members. So we went over it. Everyone knows who our committees are. We've done some introductions via email to the committees, but we didn't actually set the motions in place. Sorry guys, I do not like the way my view is here. There we go. So I'd like to get started with that. I don't know what the recommendation, I guess I'd look to council, how you recommend we do this, whether we make a motion going into each committee report or whether we should make a motion regarding committees and then get into the appropriate committee reports. Do you guys have any? I guess there's less. Can we make one motion that surrounds the committees, or does there need to be a separate one per committee? What would be the recommendation?
What do we need a motion for?
We need to make it's in the Constitution that the members of the committees need to be a motion. I'm sorry, somebody's cutting the grass.
Can we all go on mute unless we're talking?
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Andrew, I think.
Yeah, I think there's fair flexibility there. I mean, you have the ability to create a consent agenda, for example. And you can just as long as it's just open and transparent as to what's happening. I don't think you're limited with how you present these different motions.
Okay.
But I'd say just maybe for the benefit of the membership, you might want to keep them individual so that there's a record of the commitments being made or the committee membership.
Denise, did we post the committees? Are they on our website at all?
They're not on our website yet, just because I didn't want to post them until we
don't have them formal.
Yeah,
I'd like to make sure they do get up there just for reference for the membership as well. So then we'll maybe do it individually and do it that way. Okay. I'll get started then. Sorry, guys. So the first committee I'm just trying to, I'm sorry, my agenda doesn't have all of them, so I'm trying to keep them in order here. Maybe what we'll do is the separate motions, we'll do them all together because we're not necessarily going to do a review of each committee today with everything. It was just those areas that were pressing. So I guess I'll put, I'd like to, I don't know if we need any discussion around this, but we'll get to that in a second. I'd like to put a motion on the table for the marketing committee. We'll start with that one in order on how we report. That the marketing committee is comprised of, for the remainder of the term of this board, myself, Candace Dennis, Linda Proctor, and Paul Bastani. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Yeah.
Joe, thank you. Do we need any discussion around this? All in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, next motion will be for the, man, too many things. Will be for the membership committee. The membership committee will comprise of directors Jessica Fowler and Scott Harris for the remainder of the term of this board. Do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Linda. Is there any discussion that we need around this? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay. Moving on is the beautification committee. I'd like to put a motion out that the beautification committee comprise of the following directors: myself, Candace Dennis, Linda Proctor, and Paul Bastani for the remainder of the term of this board. Do I have a seconder for this motion? Thank you, Jules. Any discussion around this? All in favor? Carrie, thank you. Moving on, I'd like to present a motion for the events committee. The events committee comprises of the following directors: myself, Candace Dennis, Joe Fratelli, and Theo DeMars. I think I've got two of you guys here. So a seconder for that motion. Thank you, Jessica. Any discussion? All in favor? Carrie, thank you. Two more. No, I just did events, so my apologies. The final one, I'd like to make a motion that the governance committee comprise of the following directors: Joe Fratelli and Jules Schnappel for the remainder of this term. Seconder for that motion. Thank you, Jessica. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, congratulations and welcome everybody officially to your committee. You've got an email from me to kick us off. Thank you for those who've kind of hit the ground running. You kind of have some direction. I'm here if I'm not on your committee in any way possible. Again, a reminder to please keep Denise in the loop. She'll continue to keep us organized and help pushing us forward, keep us on track. I look forward to hearing ideas, suggestions, and things coming to fruition. Please, if there's anything you need, I'm here to be support for you guys, so just let me know. Okay,
Candace, you're on mute.
Candace, you're mute.
sorry guys, can you hear me now?
Yep.
I think somebody muted me there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to mute everybody except for the person talking just because there's like the feedback there. I clicked yours by accident.
No problem. So as I was saying, that today's meeting is called for a few special areas of consideration and discussion for committees. So we'll get started with the marketing committee. I'm just going to pull up this report here. I hope everyone's had a chance to review. Of course, this was sent a week prior, and there has been some updates to this. So we do need to, did we add those already, Denise? Perfect. So because they were late, if I'm not mistaken, we still need to pass a motion to accept. Thank you, Brian. And what was added to, there wasn't anything to the marketing committee. It was just to the beautification, correct?
It was the beautification. We added in the third quote because that came in late.
No problem. And recommendation for council, should we just accept those documents at this time or before that specific report? I am going to start with the marketing rather than the beautification.
Yeah, I think now is appropriate time. It should have
come in first before.
Yeah, it should have come in first, right before the other items, but
Yeah.
we'll accept it now, just that the supplementary agenda
Thank
item.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
my apologies. I'm bouncing around between too many screens here, guys.
And I didn't catch it either, so.
All right, so I'll, just to keep things flowing easy, I'll put a motion to accept the supplementary documentation to the agenda. Joe, is this a question? Oh, you're muted. No, I mean, you're still muted. No, I want you to ask your question.
Yeah, bottom
There
left.
it is. It cut up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all over the place. It was actually moving as I was moving my thing. No, there was no question. I thought are you doing the motion or are you seconding? I'm sorry. It cut out. I didn't understand what you were saying, Candace.
No worries. I'm just putting the motion together. So to revisit that,
Gotcha.
the motion is to accept supplementary documents to the agenda, specifically the addition of the quote for the mural project from, I believe this one was from Athena, correct, Denise?
Denial Art.
Oh, it was Denial Art. Okay, thank you. So again, the motion is to accept the supplementary documentation to the agenda with the final quote from Denial Art for the beautification committee. Thank you, Jules. Any discussion around that? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, back to reports. So that takes us to the reports for the committees. I'll get started with the marketing committee report. Again, as I started off, kind of hopping around, my apologies. I hope everyone has had a chance to review. This project is something, and because the committees share both beautification and marketing directors and members of those committees, we've kind of been knowing the direction or hoping the direction that we'll be presenting to the board. And so, as you know, we'll be speaking to some of the things on the agenda for the beautification committee, but the marketing committee has launched a Tecumseh Proud campaign. I'll get to that a little bit more. I just want to kind of segue with that because these few things are just some statistics. The Eyes on Tecumseh continues, Tecumseh Life, I may have spoke to last meeting as well, that we do plan on looking at a winter publication. These things are budgeted for and we'll keep the board posted. Social media continues to grow. So the swag, the Tecumseh Proud concept, I hope everybody's seen it and is getting familiar with it. We'd like to use that on some swag to get out there. We don't typically do a lot of swag giveaways. It's been a number of years, Linda. I'm not sure if you know offhand when the last time we got the bags were, but it's been a number of years and we had success. Just to give you guys an idea, years ago, we did a bag program where we allowed members to get a subsidized rate to get on these bags. And it went over really well. We had them. I still see them around. I still have mine. And that's where kind of the idea of that came from. But we wanted to really try to find a unique way to continue to support the membership, especially in times like this. And we wanted to do that with some promotional items. How we move these can be through prize packs, through giveaways. We get a lot of organizations looking for support. So, you know, we can pair these with Tecumseh dollar giveaways for nonprofits. We can give them to, or any organization looking for donation. These can be shared with members. These can be included, thank you, Denise. These can be included with license plate giveaways and anything we're doing at various events. And the concept of Tecumseh Proud, which I think we spoke to, was the brand Tecumseh BIA really doesn't nor should have to mean much to the public. We need our members to know who we are, but to the public, at the end of the day, we just want them thinking Tecumseh, thinking about our members. And so that's where the Tecumseh Proud brand came from. In a year that we have a lot less expenditures on regular marketing, we're not doing events again this year, we have a little bit of an extended budget to do some things that I think will be beneficial to our membership and community. I do have a lot of experience in buying swag over a lot of years. So I kind of picked some of the key items that I've found were successful in the hundreds of events I've been involved in the last 10 years, and found that they have good shelf life, that they've got good print space for visibility, and that they're just well used and quality products as well. As a matter of fact, I personally own every single one of these products, so I could even show you guys samples if you'd like to see them. So we've made a recommendation, the marketing committee, on what we'd like to do, where this budget should come from. And I'm going to just kind of scroll through this with you. I think as I'm going through, Denise, if you wouldn't mind screen sharing again the images, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. So to start, the red pen, I'm using it here myself. It's a blue one from Cool, but it's got a really great print space considering pens usually have such a small branded area. It comes with a stylus on the end. It's a black pen. These last, I've had them for years. They don't, pop off. I think they're really well priced. We're looking at a one color print. So it would be a white image, much like you see there. It's 89 cents a unit and the discount applies after 500. I'm requesting, or the marketing committee is requesting 1,000 pens. That's our price. Sorry, don't pay attention to per bag. That's just my copy and paste error. So we'd be looking at a total of $843.60, including tax, for those 1,000 pens. Additionally, the black bags. This one's one of my favorites. More and more, we're getting away from plastics and going to reusable bags, at almost any shopping center, even in day-to-day. These are really great. These ones are well made too. There's nothing worse than getting a cheap bag from somewhere and your groceries or whatever is falling out of it. So this one's really well made. It's a decent size. We're looking at a one color and print on this one. So my apologies. I have it mocked up here with two. We'll have to double check that. If I have it mocked up with two, it may have a two color print. But otherwise, the idea on the bag would be to have a full white print. And we can bring proofs back to the board as well if we think we need that. Moving on, the red bottle. I've got one as well. It's a really great size. It's a two-sided print. So on either side, so is the bag. So on either location, right? You'll see that. Same concept, just keeping the Tecumseh Proud logo, kind of sticking with the red because that fits our brand. Are you guys kidding me? I'm sorry, are you guys hearing anything I'm saying over this guy? Okay. And this one here, we'd be looking at 300 bottles. They are a little pricier when it comes to a swag item, but again, they last. I still see people carrying these things around from events that I threw years ago. And then the notepad. I love a scratch pad. I hope everybody feels the same way. It's a great way to sit on people's desks. This would be great for members. People love to grab them. Same thing. This one, I say one color print. Again, please accept my copy and pasting. This one is a full color watermark. So it would sit in the background. It's a pretty realistic mock-up I have there. I have one here that I use all the time. So it's just a full color watermark. And that there, we'd be doing 500 notepads. And those ones were 50 pad notepads. And we'd be looking at $762.75, including tax. So when you continue to look there, what we are looking for is a total promotional allocation of $34.55 and 3 cents. That's including tax. There is currently a promotional budget remaining of $1,456, leaving a balance of just shy of $2,000 in funds to be moved elsewhere should the board move forward with the recommendation. So I've made the recommendation, and we have made the recommendation as a committee to look at the Tecumseh Life publication, looking at using the half the publication dollars from there. We are looking at doing, as I spoke to, and we'll speak to the board as this is coming together, but a winter publication. And so usually the $6,000 is a split between a spring publication and a winter or summer publication in a winter. We're obviously not moving forward and haven't. We're way behind the mark to move forward with something summer, but we'd love to still look at a winter publication, leaving us the other half of that. It's the marketing committee's recommendation that that budget line is where we use to allocate the remaining funds for this promotional project. That's all I've got for that report. Before we put any motions out, is there any questions or what's that? Discussion, concerns, recommendations, anything that you would like to discuss with the marketing committee regarding this? Okay. So in that case, the marketing committee the motion is the marketing committee is requesting the approval of the board to move forward with the, how do I want to word this?
Purchase?
Yeah, move forward with the Come See Proud promotional purchases as recommended.
Presented.
Okay, that's the motion on the table. Is there a seconder for this? Thank you, Joe. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Good.
Denise, send me an email tomorrow. We will follow up on getting this started. I'm going to have to get some of the artwork together in order to submit for that to move forward.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on, the beautification committee is the next item for discussion. What do we have on the membership committee here? Was there any? No, we won't go through membership committee. There's no motions to approve. And if I'm not mistaken, this meeting is required from our motions only, Denise?
Mm-hmm.
Just for pressing matters. The one thing I will mention though with the membership committee is I sent out an email earlier about needing volunteers for the Tecumseh dollars. I don't know if anyone on the membership committee can help out that day. It's Monday, July 5th. We're expecting to have 3 times the size of a crowd that we normally have. So one of me versus 200 people is not very good. But if you guys can help out, even if it's just for an hour, it'll probably be crazy for 4 hours at least. And then it'll start to die down. But the first 2 hours are going to be crucial. If you guys can volunteer, I know you guys have jobs and you probably can't get that off. But if not, I'll try and recruit as many volunteers as I can outside of this board. But if you can, it would be greatly appreciated.
Keep us all posted, Denise, on first off where you're at before, like next week, where you're at with volunteers. I won't be able to be there. I've actually got a new career. I'll bring you guys up another time. So, so I won't be able to attend, but I'll see what I can do to find people as well. So please keep us posted on that. I think it's absolutely essential that we have that we're set up. Quite frankly, if we can't do this effectively, we don't do it. I don't want to put you or 1 or 2, Linda and Paula in a position where this is not going to work or be easily facilitated. As much as we want to get back and support the membership, maybe there's if we don't have the manpower, it's like trying to run an event without the volunteers. It just can't happen. So let's see where we're at next week and figure out a real game plan for this. And make sure we can make it happen, figure out exactly what we need, how many people at the minimum to see this through. And then we'll see what we can do there.
Okay. I'm trying to recruit my family. So hopefully.
That was going to be my next plan.
Yeah. So I've got like 3 people maybe. So.
Okay. Yep. Let's see what we can do. I'd love to get back out there. I know the community is waiting. I'm sure the membership is waiting. Let's see what we can do to ramp that up. While we're on that topic, how has the router been? I'm just curious because I want to make sure that we don't run into any dropouts with that square.
Ironically, it dropped this morning. So it's dropped twice. So
the issue is likely not our router.
Yeah, It could be. I mean, I checked earlier today and went in the spare room where all of the technology is, and the internet upstairs is always running, but ours keeps dropping. So Axiom did suggest that we should maybe look into getting our own internet instead of shared, because that could be where it's coming from. But
Well, and again, maybe we just have to look into this a little further, because there's internet coming in. It should have nothing to do with being a shared internet, but there could be interference. There could be, we've got a new router that should have the distance it needs, but I don't know. I'm not techie enough to say, but I know there's like 4 different routers back there. Is there something, I don't know how this is set up really, but we'll have to look into that. One of the things that we'll end up speaking to with the board is rent increases and budget for next year as we move forward there. Maybe it's an option and maybe we can look into that, but the internet's already coming in. So I don't know how getting our own would be any different, but we'll revisit that. Sorry.
yeah,
A little sidetracked. Okay.
I think Jules had.
Sorry, I'm between pages here, so.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know enough about internet stuff, technology, that I can probably just pop in and check what's going on. I mean, I've put together enough offices that I have a lot of equipment that I can figure it out. I'll stop in, just text me when you're in there and I'll just check it out. Okay.
That'd be greatly
That'd be great, Jules.
Thank
It's
you.
somewhere for us to start, right? You might be able to see what the problem is or what we could be doing differently. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Thank you.
Jules, I'm happy to help. I mean, I wired all my house and all that kind of stuff. I know Leo's really good at that too, but he's, not doing well right now. And I know Leo was in, right, to kind of help and set this up, but it could be a signaling issue, or I don't know if we can hardwire, anything that's going down.
Yeah. It might be because I don't know what it is, but it could also be because we're in the basement. I don't know if that's like a huge issue, but
It shouldn't be. So I'll stop in, maybe tomorrow or something.
okay. I took pictures of what the screen looks like when it's down and the signal it's giving us, just that way. I don't know if that's something for you guys to start off with. If this,
Well, go check first and then I'll log into the router and I'll get a history and I'll know.
okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
No worries.
Or even if you can hardwire the router right to the main room off of that other room, maybe that's an issue. Because I've moved routers in my house before, right, for that very reason. So, but I'll leave it up to you.
I know there's several routers down there, so I don't know if they're causing interference and issues with each other. I'm not totally savvy with that. So yeah, you guys helping us out would be great.
Ours is right in between the other two, so I don't know if it's like pulling. I don't know what any of that stuff is.
Yeah, likely if we can move it away from that, but well, let our man Jules check it out and he can report back.
Okay.
Okay, thanks guys. All right, moving on, beautification committee. So this is a big one for us. The board's kind of up to speed. Of course, we talked last we spoke. We spoke to the initiative where the beautification committee was, the ideas that kind of got us here. And so now we've brought you something with a little more beef and some of what was recommended we do. So just kind of going through the beautification report. Some of this is going to be, a little bit of information you've heard before. But again, we're looking at murals, and the goal here, because there's still some stuff to figure out regardless of how we're moving forward, but the goal is 2 murals. We've talked about those locations and those will come up. We were able to acquire 3 quotes as requested and suggested from Dirks, who we had started the conversations with, Denial Art and Athena. So we've received all 3 of those. Again, those locations, the primary location where we've really nailed down and worked very closely with the property owner is the old Billiards Plus building right at the Parkette, as well as on the side of Amlo's Pizza. The committee believes, as we've said, that this is going to bring a lot of life to the downtown core. I think this will be a great contribution to the CIP as those things come together. Again, we've kind of gone over a lot of these details on why the committee's bringing this forward to the board, and why we think it'll be beneficial to our membership and community. Again, all of them have said that they'll do the clear coat to help with graffiti and vandalism. So all of them, for the most part, are requiring a 50% payment before they'll do mock-ups and before we start talking artwork. I know last time we spoke, Leo had discussed that, maybe there were some concepts along the lines of the native history of Tecumseh, and that if we did go that route, to really look into the right elements and perhaps look for individuals who could help bring that to life. At this time, if that comes around, we still want to go through that, but we've got some concepts that we're kind of running with to kick us off. So the concept for Billiards Plus, I believe I sent an email to the board with a few different concepts and ideas for murals. These are kind of the directions we'd like to go, and of course there'll be some concepts. Should the board move forward with our recommendation, there will be concepts that come from the artist who wins as well. So on the Billiards Plus, we're looking for, the Tecumseh proud. That ties into everything. And moving forward, the discussion from the marketing committee has really been, the BIA doesn't need to be on the forefront. This is about Tecumseh proud and creating a brand around that. So using that in something similar to this Knoxville wall you see there. And I mean, if you Google something like this, there's a lot of really cool concepts with things like this. So whether it's greetings from or welcome to, or, but having fun with Tecumseh proud, I think would be great. And then having the elements of that in there. So the difference is currently the logo is mocked up as Tecumseh smaller, proud, big. And so we'd like to talk to the artists about their ideas on what's best. Maybe we reverse that, and the Tecumseh's the large one with the images, and proud's done a little different to pop out. This is where we're really going to look to the artists at what they do best to help bring our concepts to life. The other one on the Emlo's wall, the goal is to come up with something that's a little interactive. So the other one would be two people love to pose in front of a beautiful mural, but maybe something that's less just about Tecumseh, but something a little more interactive. So here you'll see the butterflies flying up. Places have wings. There's a lot of the wings. That's not a bad idea. It generates a lot of traffic, but we thought doing something a little more unique and different like this. And again, this is where we turn to artists to help us out. It's a smaller area, so we figured this would be a great one, but we'd still want to incorporate kind of a little Tecumseh proud logo within this. That would be captured in the picture, because the whole goal is that no matter what people are doing, taking pictures with it, seeing it, that they know this is a part of a Tecumseh proud campaign and beautifying Tecumseh. So I think some of the stuff we've already spoke to is also the contract. I think it's looking pretty good. I haven't heard anything back from the town. We sent an email to the clerk's office on May 20th looking for any feedback we could on that. Depending on how the board decides to move forward, I would like to follow up and see where that is. Or also look to see if, as we spoke to before, if there's, I know we've reached out to a few, it just wasn't in their scope, but if there's a lawyer who would take a look for a legal eye. But again, this comes from local BIAs who have used this contract agreement with their artists in their area. So we're very confident in what that looks like. Be happy to send it to the board. Actually, I would like the whole board to take a look at that and give us any feedback if there's something that is glaring. So again, depending on how this board decides to move forward, we'll dictate what we do with the contract agreement. I also heard a bit of a rumor, I guess you could say. So one of the things I want to do as well is follow up. I haven't followed up since hearing this. It's not anything very official, but a friend of a friend says that AMLOs may or may not be looking to sell their business. Quite frankly, that is neither here or there for me. It's about who owns that building. And so even if Frank was perhaps looking to make a move, is he looking to sell the building? And so those are some of the things that we'll just have to openly discuss. Again, really rumor at this point. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's something that I think, rumor or not, it came to my ear, and I do think it's worth conversation. Andrew?
Yeah, I think Paul Bassani has some information on that.
Thank you. We'll I'll be sure to follow up with Paul on that.
Yeah, and Candace, further to that, I thought I saw something online, right, that it was posted or.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this isn't too far off of a rumor then, perhaps.
No, I thought, yeah, they put the building and the business was up for sale. I think there was a post, right, at some point, but that's what I recall. So I don't think it's hearsay or rumor. I think it's
okay.
actual fact.
Pretty factual. Okay. Good to know. So, that may or may not change things. I will say, when we get there in a moment, this committee is seeking the board's approval to move forward. Should it be right, obviously, and we'll word those things accordingly. There's still some more work to be done, but the goal from the committee is, I'll be frank, to get the approval so that we can get the work done. And we'll get to that point. We've got the quotes I'd like to review. They're all a little different. It's difficult because some of them have been specific in the wall sizes. Some have been less specific. But you guys can see them here. I think Denise, I'm off that screen, so I can't tell if we have those ahead of us. But invoice 1 you'll see is from Brianna Benor, and she's goes by Athena. She's quoted us. Sorry, I just don't need to go down every little bit of detail. So she's quoted us 7 on the larger mural and 3 on the smaller, so Billiards Plus and AMLO's Pizza. And that looks like that's everything. That's her, scissor lift, everything she would need there, which is a nice rate. Moving on, did we include any of their artwork? We didn't.
Not in these ones, no.
Okay. Moving on, we do have our quote, which I think it's because we had started conversations with Dirk, so it's a little less detailed, and he's wrapped it up in 2 murals at 15, which is what we discussed with the board, came to us last time. Of course, those are still those 2 walls. That is the conversation and discussion around that. And then the third quote comes from Daniel, who is Denial Art. And we see here, again, a little more detail, a little more price in his here on the Billiards Plus location. And then it looks like we've also got, sorry, I just scrolled by it here. Where is his separate piece on AMLO's? Am I missing this? Did he only give us 1?
He just gave us the 1. I walked with him to show him the other one and said that we were doing 2, but I think he just quoted us for the 1. So
okay.
This price here would just be for billiards.
Just for the Billiards Plus wall.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys can see where we are with these quotes. They vary and differ. Today's recommendation from this committee. Sorry, these people don't even live next door, and now they're cutting the grass. So this committee is still seeking the approval to move forward with Dirks. They're all very talented artists. They've all quoted us roughly similar within a few $1,000s of each other on the pricing. But I'm just absolutely blown away by his artwork. And I think it's exactly what we're looking for. Denial art is more pop art, a little more graffiti, and I think it's amazing. Afina, she's got a few pieces I'm not as fond of, and then a few that are fantastic. But I think based on what the discussion is, what the goal is, and to be quite honest, the areas that were running murals that brought it to Denise and this committee's attention was Dirk's. And as we spoke to last meeting regarding this, quotes are quotes, but when it comes to art, it's much different. I don't know. For the sake of asking, has everyone seen his most recent mural on Tecumseh Road with Littlefoot Foods?
Littlefoot Foods.
Have you guys, have everybody seen that? If you haven't, I encourage you to go take a look at that. It's exceptional. And then again, all of his work has been. So with that, before I start with a whole motion, I guess, is there questions, discussion that we'd like to have around this? We'll come back to that once the motion's on the table, but I just figured if there's some conversation around it first, we can kind of start there. And it's not just for negative feedback. If there's anything positive, things that this board would like to see if we're moving forward, any discussion around that? Okay, then. In that case, we'll have an opportunity for discussion again in just a moment. But I will put the motion. Oh, thanks. Love it. But I will put the motion on the table that the beautification committee is seeking the approval of the board to move forward with, how do we want to word this? Just so you know, I'm trying to put this together and any help is accepted. The goal here is to get the board's approval to move forward with a budget of $15,000 for 2 possible murals, but that doesn't mean there's going to be 2. There may only be 1. I'll be honest, if there's any listing about selling, we're not putting a mural on that wall. We cannot, we have to have a contract with the property owner. But again, this is up to this board. If we feel like that is what's happening and he is selling, then I'd like to seek the board's approval on the 1. I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to do 2. That's why I think we're getting such a wonderful rate. But I am a little leery looking at a possible property ownership change, regardless what contract we have. Does that now here, this is where it's up for conversation. Does that matter? If there's a beautiful mural on the side of that wall. Joe, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna reach out to Paul. If he's interested in selling, I'll talk to him about that building anyway. So I'm interested in that building, but we'll see going forward. Just FYI.
Thanks, good to know. Can you get that deal done quick? Or Brian, I think you were.
Yeah, and I do believe, the sale of the building, and that's why there's, an agreement in place, regardless of, who owns it. That's one of the reasons we get those. So somebody buys the building, they buy the building, recognizing, the agreement that is there and what is required, right, for upkeep or maintenance, etc. So, if it goes on the building, I would be more concerned with the owner now, selling it. Does that add value to the building? Does it retract from people who, may want to purchase the building, right? In recognizing what's on the, on the wall. So I think you're protected through the legal agreement. But again, that'll be all, called out in the agreement, and it kind of goes on title on the, on the property, right?
Good point. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Just to bring the board up to speed as well, as much as, we've spoken to Frank and we've discussed this, there's been less back and forth with that location. So again, that's why I do say, if anything, we're ready to move. The owner of the first property is ready. We're ready. We're all on the same page. We're all on the same page with the artwork. We've got a little bit of work still to do with Frank at AMLO's, but there would be some time for that. I think first it's pounding out the larger piece and then looking at the second piece, but they would be done together, and that's why it's being wrapped up, I think, in such a nice way from Dirk's. Okay, so again, trying to put this motion together. We're seeking the board's approval on 2 possible murals at the presented locations at a max budget of $15K.
Plus tax?
And any $15K plus HST, with any funds above the beautification budget to come from the reserve. Do I
Sure.
need that?
Yeah.
I think so. Where were we with that beautification budget? I don't remember. Was there 10 and we were looking for 5? Was there 8?
Let me see here.
I'm sorry, I'm so unprepared.
It's okay. It was 10 and we're looking for $5,000 more. We've used nothing so far. The 10.
So 10 was remaining as of now in beautification.
10 solid, yeah.
Okay, so let me reword all this again. The beautification committee is seeking the board's approval to move forward with possibly 2 murals in the presented locations. How do I say this? From the beautification, no, we don't have, it's obviously coming from the beautification budget. It's just, how do I wrap in that 5K if it needs to come from?
Candace, do we have to take all 10 out of the beautification? Because that'll leave us with nothing, and we've got, what, 80,000 in the reserve?
That's true.
So why don't
Listen,
we
I
take,
would be up for, well, why don't I just say it this way? What if we're seeking the board's approval for the 2 possible 2 murals at the locations presented at a budget of $15K plus HST from the reserve?
yeah, we'll go from there.
What we don't use in the beautification will end up back there.
Yeah.
And again, it shouldn't be. We got to move these
We've
funds.
gotta move the
We've gotta
money.
start doing stuff. We've got to be active, and I think
Specify
this is a
for
wonderful.
total.
Sorry, Jules.
Madam Chair, I would think you should specify for a total of 15,000 plus, because it's, it could be, you just want to specify maybe that a total of 15,000 plus HST,
Okay.
not for each,
Yes,
just in
yes, for a
total.
total on the 2. Okay, Denise, can you read what I have? Do you have a motion going there?
For your motion,
Yeah.
you were seeking 15K from the reserve for the proposed 2 mural projects. Hold on, let me see. I'm like writing stuff down as we're doing
That's
this.
okay. That's okay. I'll say it again. Let's do it like this. So the beautification committee is seeking approval
From the board.
for 2 murals at the proposed locations for a total of $15K plus HST
Mhm.
from the reserve
From the reserve.
account.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion around that? Councillor Houston?
Thank you. The only thing I would recommend in moving forward is maybe consulting with Leslie at the town. because the town is also going to be doing a mural on the Legion. And I do believe it is the same person who's doing it. So
Great.
so just that, they complement one another. It's not, not a similar theme, et cetera, right? So just.
Absolutely. And we've kind of had, is the one the town's looking at the one that's part of the 100th?
Yes.
Yes. So we've had a little bit of conversation with that. I don't know if Paul's been back to that committee, if they've had another committee meeting since, but we sent some information to him as well, just in terms of thank you for that, because we weren't sure what artists they might have been considering and whether there was an opportunity, if possibly writing these, something together, or if the fact that the commitment, if they haven't made one, if our commitments together might help the town down the line. I'm not sure, since we're both doing that, but yeah, we'll make sure we touch base there as well. If they've got some concepts they might be thinking of already, since they will be right there, we can ensure that there's some complementary things happening to each other.
Yep.
Jules?
Madam Chair, why would we be doing 2 murals so close together? Like, why would, it's a little overkill, wouldn't it be?
Possibly. So overkill, no, I don't think so. You go downtown Windsor, you go to Walkerville, there's murals everywhere, and I think it's awesome.
But I mean,
that said, we can't, I believe that this board can't make commitments based on what may or may not happen for sure on other projects down the line. This is an initiative that we were working on before we knew that the town for the 100th was going to be looking at an opportunity. I would, and I don't know what their mural is going to be. I'm confident it's going to be a completely different concept. It's, I think that it'll bring some life downtown. I don't think there would be a conflict there, but at the same time, I don't think we should not do things because somebody else might be considering them. I don't know how 100% that initiative is.
Brian, do you know
If that
who's
helps.
doing the mural?
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe if they're going to do something for the 100th, why don't we, the first proposed place, why don't we tell the town, like, hey, why don't you go, like, we'll share a cost with you on this one.
Yeah.
There, instead of having one on the Legion, one on that other building, and then one on Amlos. It's like, I don't know.
It's our downtown, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing to have a lot happening. But again, and I appreciate the discussion. My concern is we could go to the town. The last time I had a conversation with Paul regarding that committee, it was that this is next year. This is a project that's coming, and we're ready to make a decision to do things for our community now, to show that, especially in these times, this is, I think they'll complement each other. And I appreciate, Brian's feedback too, to discuss those things with each other. It's not as if there's going to be two gaudy different. I will say, and not that his work is gaudy, if we both went with 2 denial art pieces, that will be busy. Those are 2 graffiti pop art. I think if you take a look at Dirk's work, it's artistic, it's beautiful, and I think he's going to bring so much to Tecumseh. I like both initiatives. That's just my personal feedback. Linda, 1 second, because I think Brian, you raised a hand.
Yeah, the only issue we have right now is Joe left, right? And there isn't quorum.
I didn't realize. Jeez Louise.
I just text him to say, hey, Joe, where are you? Right. And he says, oh, he's got an AGM he had to log into. So Denise is aware, but we don't have quorum right now. So
that's okay. If we can continue the discussion, correct? Because I'm about to get him on the phone and tell him he's got to log back in there so I can finish this motion. Or else we're back.
There isn't actually a motion on the table anyways. We're just talking about it.
That's right. That's right. It's just conversation.
It's just conversation. The motion wasn't actually made. There's nobody.
No, but I am hoping to make it one way or another. I'll be honest with this board. If we do not make a decision and get to Dirk's, we are losing him this year.
I seconded that motion.
You did, but now it's not passed. It's discussion.
I would recommend that we recess until you can get another member. only because there isn't quorum, so no
No, you're right.
decisions or conversation can be had to advance business, and even having a conversation about it is advancing business. So I would just recommend that we recess like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, get another member who is here on so that we make quorum, or else the meeting will have to be adjourned.
Well, who else have we got?
We can
Paul,
call
can somebody
Scott.
call Paul? I'm texting Joe right now. I know he's in an AGM, but I'm going to try to see if I can get him for, this is all we need to do, and then we're done this meeting. Can somebody call Paul? What's the formality against having a recess here, Brian? Do we just pause and stay?
Yep. Andrew, maybe I'll lean on you here a little bit, because I'm not too sure, but I think if we recess, right, and rejoin at quorum, it should be acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine. Like we do it all the time at town council. So we set a time for the return, so anyone watching will be able to know when we're back, and that should be fine.
Okay.
Let's break to a quarter after.
15 minutes, I feel like, is quite a lot of time. I almost want to break for 5 right now and see where we get in the next 5 minutes, because quite frankly, this motion, I don't know how much conversation is still there, but if we can get somebody back on in the next 5 minutes, we're nearly complete.
Okay.
Give me 1 minute, laugh out loud. He's the treasurer. Joe will be joining us in a minute. I'll continue to communicate with him. Let's break till 7:05 at this time. See where we're at in the next 5, if that works for everybody. My apologies for this, guys. Thank you, Brian, for noticing. I am bouncing around between too many things.
Are you able to get to your computer to log into
Mute,
our
Linda.
meeting? Just lost our quorum.
Thank you, Denise.
Got you.
I'll see you guys back in a few.
Okay.
All right,
I'll be
I'll
back
see you
at
then.
7:05.